Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm going to focus on the Can-Am still. The channel's probably pivoted a little bit more towards that. I've decided I'm going to go racing. It's what I wanted to do for a while now, even before I built the Skyline. I was into off-road driving, racing, dirt bikes, all that sort of stuff. I had the thought maybe I should build an off-road truck. Wasn't viable at the time. Didn't have much access to that knowledge or ability to do it. The buggies or Can-Ams didn't really exist. They were only really new in basic form, almost like a golf cart with off-road wheels, and wasn't into it. Went down the path of the Skyline. There were plenty of Skylines around at the time. A mate of mine knew a fair bit about them, and that's the way I went. But at the moment, the buggy's where it's at. That's where my interest is, and I do want to go racing. I've got a few things to cover off on it. I've got the whiteboard. I probably need to get a new whiteboard because someone sprayed this one with sparks when they were welding or grinding or something, so it's covered in shit. But you know, we make do with what we got. It'll still be able to write down. I'll still be able to write down things and map out a bit of a plan. But I've got a few things and a few upgrades to do on the buggy to get it race ready. Most of it I've got sorted. Got the 6-point harnesses, got the chase light on there as well. I've got this reinforcement bracket from Assault Industries to put on. I'll have to do some sort of dog bones to try and eliminate this bit of slop that happens. The factory frame elongates a bit, so I'll make up some dog bones to put in behind there, I think, give it a bit more strength. There'll no doubt be a few other things that I need to strengthen up along the way as well. But this will focus on the journey to getting it race ready, then hopefully take you along to the first few races that I do. Going to do some local ones first that aren't so strict on cage rules and that sort of stuff. Then go down the path of getting a proper cage and everything else that I need to do to go desert racing. Bench is done. Better than it was anyway. There's still a bit more organising to do. But at least I got a nice workspace here. Glass bench, love it. Good for a hammer. Not really. Light rack will have to come off. I've done a repair there once before. And then on the other side, I've repaired it once before again as well, and it's cracked just under in a different spot. Obviously, this factory bracket not holding up to the weight of all these extra lights, so that's coming off. Mirror, I don't know if you can tell, but it is definitely smashed. That folded in and hit the cage and then shattered. Look, these things will happen when you're going, what, 130 over the whoops. Things are going to vibrate, things are going to break, so we work out the weak parts and then we replace and repair and build stronger. So I'll take the light rack off most probably, then start mapping out what to do next. I'd really like to try and get this plate done and dog bones to try and stop that. Then I'll be a bit more confident. Then we'll be able to maybe look at the exhaust as well. We're going to take the exhaust off. I've got the parts at the shop to make a new exhaust for it. It'll probably come out here somewhere. Do an infill plate there, I think. Mate Ben at Lawrence Metal Fab is going to help us with that one. But for now, let's rip off this light bar and get a few more bits and pieces torn down on this, ready to go. Light rack off. That bad boy there. I really don't like the look of it without the light rack or with just the factory roof and that. The flat roofs look much cooler. It's a bit weird. There's a bit of weird shit going on here, but that's right. Hopefully I'll be able to book in and get the cage done sooner rather than later. And have to think about relocating all this or remounting that. That's fine, but it's all wired in, so that's probably the most important part and the hardest part of that sort of stuff. The rest of it, 4 bolts, off it comes. So we'll go there. I've got the push bike here. Been going for a bit of a ride, do a bit of training. Despite what you think, you do need to be reasonably fit for racing cars and bikes and all this sort of stuff. It's one of those things. Mental fitness plays a big role as well. Exercise definitely helps with that sort of stuff. So, but the chase light hasn't got the brakes wired up yet, so I've got to wire that in, tap into under here somewhere so it taps into the brake light. And then I've got the whips as well that bought off my friend Thomas there, the light up buggy whips, which I'm thinking as well, because you can change them to orange, so it's probably not a bad thing. I mean, they say you got to have an orange light on the chase light, but big orange whips is probably good for the dust as well. Get the higher the better, the more visibility the better, the safer. So that's another thing to tick off the list as well later down the track. But next, I reckon I'll get this plate off and have a go at this, see how we go fitting that pull plate on. It's not pull plate, it's just the radius arm plate or radius rod plate. So we'll do that next, I reckon. We've got the plate off. That's the factory one here. You can see, or you might be able to see how thin it is. You can hear it, how flimsy it is. Here's the Assault Industries one. Much thicker, boxed at the top, boxed at the bottom. Much more solid. So that'll go on there. Now, what I was talking about in here is these holes get elongated a bit. So I'll take that off there, you can see. This one's not too bad compared to some of the ones I've seen. But you can see there's a bit of movement, a bit of elongation there. Now, because the top and bottom's boxed already, my plan and my thoughts is I'm going to go in behind here, which it's going to be tricky and you can't really see in there, but I might try and swap that around for a thicker plate on the back with a nut. So I might even just run a nut on the back of this one and then bolts coming back the way through they are now, because the top ones, you can sort of see there's little to no movement on the top ones and the bottom ones, which is good. So they generally won't be a problem, as well as being boxed when this plate goes on too. So that'll be the next step. I'll see what I can whip up and then give it a bit more strength. New plan. I'm going to put nuts and dog bones on all of them. Something I remember reading up, they reckon if you do that, then you can undo one bolt and replace a radius rod, and these are going to get bent at some point. It's inevitable. It will happen. They're factory, they're stock. People say upgrade them or leave them stock and then just be aware that they will bend. It's one of those things, it's sort of let the weakest point bend. They're easy to replace, they're cheap, rather than putting stress on other things that might bend or break later. I'll see how I go. Haven't bent one yet, fingers crossed, touch wood, all that. But the next part will be, now there's no room behind here to get these out, so I'm thinking I might just cut them off, push them out, I've got some pretty thick plate here, use the factory bits there as a bit of a template on where to mark the holes, drill through, weld some nuts on there, nice and strong, give them a flick of paint and away they go. So that's the plan now. It's going to be a bit of how you're going, but we'll get there. I think it'll be well worth the while in the end anyway. So off to Bunnings though to get some high tensile bolts, because I've only got nuts. I got these nuts, but I need bolts. So I'll go get that, cut these off and go to work. Dog bones all painted up. It's going to be a nightmare to get them in along here. I'll have to finger around behind there and hold them into place and bolt them up, but it is what it is. Let's see how we go. There we have it. Plate is on. Already feels way better. No slop anywhere. They all feel nice and firm. There's quite a big bracket behind there with dog bones, so I don't think I'm gonna have any dramas now. It was a bit of a shit fight trying to get it all on, but now knowing if I need to take one radius rod off, it's just unbolt, swap it out, away we go, rather than having to undo the whole plate and that sort of stuff. So especially in race situations when time is gonna cost you, if I can change one of those bad boys out and get back on the track, could be the difference. So that's crossed off the list. Nice Assault Industries one there. We can cross that off here. Rear plate done. A few more things to do there, but we'll jump onto those things next, see how we go. So the next thing I went ahead and got done, it's been a few weeks since the last part of this video, but what I went ahead and got done was the exhaust, which a nice single tip there. You can sort of see, you get the phone light in there so you can see, but it's a full 3-inch stainless steel system straight off the back of the turbo with just a little hot dog in there, which my mate Ben from Lawrence Metal Fab helped me knock up. Had my first go at TIG welding, which, I mean, I can't thank Ben enough for that. He's really good at setting things up and teaching and that sort of thing. So I'll drop a photo in there. I'll drop in a bit of a startup as well so you can hear what it sounds like. Maybe a couple of other bits. So I'll pop that in here now.
Sometimes I get worried about the future, baby. Sunshine in my window, been loose lately. Pretend like I don't worry when I do. Say the devil lying when it's true. For heaven's sake, I hope I don't wake up and be a fool. Don't know where
Next part of this build, getting ready to go racing, will be the cage. I have ordered it's like a flat pack cage that's all pre-bent, notched for the most part. There are things that I will have to add. I'll have to add like the lateral windscreen bar, I'll have to add door bars and a couple other things, make the back bar a diagonal rather than just a V. So in the next episode, I will focus on that, going through probably the cage and breaking this down and getting it all ready to go ahead and pull the trigger on that. Again, Ben will be helping with that. I'm not good enough at welding to be able to meet specs and that sort of thing, so he'll give us a hand with that and we'll get it done. So until next time, see you in the next episode.